to welcome everyone to the Coach Salt Show. This is our fifth episode, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Demon's just coming off a victory on the road at Jewel Sumner. Coach, we've got great weather coming up. Locals say fair weather. It's the fall weather. I always said, when you get to this time of the year and the weather starts to cool off, those teams that put in that work and that heat and grinded it out, they tend to have success when the temperatures cool down and the games take on a different level of significance.
Right. There's no doubt, Coach. I mean, now everybody starts looking at PowerPoints and, overall record, and you start looking at, kind of what a simulated bracket might look like. And, I think you're right, though. The teams that put in the work during the summer, they have that little extra in them right now. And I think a lot of it is because of, maintenance and injury prevention. So, we're in pretty good shape with that right now.
Good deal. That's good to know. So we've had a good week of practice, and obviously we have, not to look too far ahead, but next week, how you guys handling the practice and preparation during Fair Week?
Well, it's interesting here, Coach. The fair is a huge social time for our kids, but so is homecoming week. And we had homecoming a week ago, and we managed that really well, and our kids were real focused. The big thing is, what do you do after practice? So we'll practice in the morning. We'll go 8 a.m. on Monday and Tuesday, and then 6 a.m. on Wednesday, because that's the day of the parade. It's all about what you do after practice. We can control how they are during practice, but we'll talk about what's important to them. And I tell them every year now, the fair comes around every year. Your opportunity to win a championship is a 4-year window, and it's really an open window for us right now, sitting here at 4-1. So hopefully our kids are smart enough to manage that well.
Awesome. And those are some great points, Coach. And the ability to compartmentalize, like we said during homecoming. Our kids know how to compartmentalize, enjoy the fair. It's part of being a student here at Franklinton High School and growing up in this community. But when you walk in that field house, you got 2 to 2.5 hours of work on a few days and maybe a little shorter on Wednesday. But put that work in, be locked in, be focused. And, Coach, I don't know what y'all experienced last year, but my experience in coaching, the players were phenomenal.
Right.
They had breakfast, man. They were ready to go, and I think you said you were doing the same thing. So it's a good tradition, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are prepared for that. So, Coach, when we come back, we'll get into Jewel Sumner, and then we'll turn the page into Lake Shore. So join us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of the Coach Salt Show.
Coach, that's a pretty good connection right there.
Yes, it
Let
is.
me see that. Coach, that's a winning connection right there. From all of us at Walt Massey Chevrolet in Franklinton, go Demons.
Tonight, I can take the heat, baby. Best believe that's the moment I shine. 'Cause every romance shakes and it bends. Don't give a damn. When the night's here, I don't do tears, baby. No chance. I could dance, I could dance, I could dance. Watch me dance, dance the night away. My heart could be burning, but you won't see it on my face. Watch me dance, dance the night away.
So, Coach, now we'll talk about Sumner. We went on the road right down the, 15 miles to the west of here, and a lot of our kids have some relationships with Sumner student athletes. And this Sumner team, we hadn't played Sumner often, but having spoken to some people in that community, Coach, they won the junior high championship. They never did this. This is basically the best team that they've ever had there. We went on the road there in a new environment and played an undefeated, very talented Sumner team. Talk a little bit about that environment and
Yeah, well, Coach, it was an electric night. Anytime you have two good teams rolling into play, and when you go on a road and your opponent's whole program really has been built around this team coming through. The fans know about it. Their student body knew about it. So there were a lot of people there. And like you said, this was a really, really talented team. I mean, they were really good. Their skilled kids were good. And while they weren't necessarily the tallest guys, they were wide. They had 5 fire hydrants playing on the offensive line, and they were physical. And, we had to go toe-to-toe, had to come back twice from 2 scores down at the end of the game to win it. And we were fortunate enough to get the win and move to 4-1.
And, Coach, they run, that wing, sort of double wing.
Right.
There's some other teams we've played that are similar to that. Obviously, Lakeshore, a version of it, maybe out of the spread or out of the shotgun, I should say, at times. But it tests your eye discipline. It forces you to play assignment football. And at times, maybe if a defensive guy feels like he sees something and loses sight of maybe what his key is, and then you give a good athlete a ball, a false step on defense, and that, we had some of that. And could you speak to that? How does that offense that Sumner ran challenge you?
Well, I think 2 things happened, and they were really good at both of them. Their inside run game, the belly and the counter, they had a big fullback who could run, and he pushed a pile, and he was one of those guys that could find the crease, and then when he did, he accelerated and had the top-end speed, and we were chasing him a lot. And then the next thing was the speed, and they were big at wing. They had 2 big wings, and the thing about running speed sweep like that, you just said it, if you take the wrong step or you give up your outside shoulder, just if you give up half of the outside shoulder, that's all they really need to get to the edge. And then what looks like should be a no gain or a 2-yard gain all of a sudden is a 10-yard gain or a 12-yard gain. And if you miss that one tackle, you're chasing those big numbers. And that happened to us all night. And we couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. And when we got a 3rd down stop, they fake a punt and keep a drive alive on a fake punt. And they just really grinded the clock and really did a great job in the 4th quarter of moving it, grinding the clock. We tried to keep our timeouts in our pocket because we thought we were going to have to score twice. And we wound up blocking the extra point that kept it a 1-score game. So things kind of went in our favor towards the end of the game. But that's championship teams are going to play those kind of games, and they're going to have to find a way to win those games, and we did.
You're exactly right. And I mean, there were, like you said, there were a couple times, I think there were 2 extra points that they were kicking that would have basically put them up by 9.
Right.
And we blocked both of them.
Right.
And too, what happens is when you're in a game like that and all the momentum's across the field and they're driving again, it really tests the resolve and the belief of your team. And our team and your coaches seemed to keep believing that we were going to have a chance. We just had to keep plugging away. And our defense battled, and then our offense would respond and kept us in the game. And then when things sort of turned and that momentum turned, I think it was on that last touchdown, maybe that quarterback sneak and a couple plays that led to that. Our players executed when it counted, and again, we come away beating an undefeated team on the road in overtime and coming home 4-1.
Right, yeah, and I mean, look, Coach, because you've coached them before, you have to find ways to win games against opponents that you're equal to, and I think Sumner was equal to us. And it's the same thing kind of this Friday night when we play Lakeshore. We're going to find an opponent that we're equal to and they're equal to us. And we have to keep finding ways to win these games because the way the schedule's worked out for us, we really don't have any gimmies. I mean, I don't think you ever have a gimme, but when you look at the front end of our schedule, and I remember talking about this all summer, these first 6 games were going to decide if we were going to play 11, 12, 13. Well, right now we're sitting 4-1, and we're feeling really good. And we're first in the power rating. We're starting to get some notoriety. But again, we got to find ways to win close games because of our schedule. We play a really demanding schedule.
That's right. And you spoke briefly. Well, I guess before I turn the page, so what's the mindset, Coach? We go into overtime. We get, I think, like 7 yards on first down,
right.
But then second and third we get stopped. And then we send out a freshman kicker.
Well, again, it's It's the same thing, but a different thing in that you got to make the kids believe that you believe in them. And I called the timeout, and a couple of people had asked me why I was calling timeout. You're freezing your own kicker. But you could see him out on the field, and he was fidgeting around. Right. And I just called him over, and I said, Gabe, we practice this every day. We work field goal and field goal block and PAT block every day. And we move it middle, hash, left, right, back it up, move it forward. And I just told him, you've made this kick before. You've made this kick in practice under a rush. You've made this kick in practice under a rush that just blocked 2 kicks for them. You can make this kick. And it just kind of calmed him down, and he went out there and put it through the uprights, and we won it.
That's good. And I think, that's because of your experience, and that's what good coaches do. It's one thing to put them in a, people say call the right play and all that. But understanding the mindset of a student athlete, especially a 14-year-old one who's missed a couple extra points, and the mindset of our team, I think that's an unspoken thing at the high school level that great programs have, that their head coach knows their players and know what they need when they need it. So kudos to you, and that's awesome. We'll come right back, and we'll turn to Lakeshore. I want to thank our sponsors, Walt Massey Chevrolet, International Paper, Blue RX Solutions, and Southern Stitches, all of Franklinton. Thank you.
I love learning at school. I love school. It's the best. School is really fun to me. Happy school day. I love school so much.
And my favorite thing about school is having fun with my friends and learning about math. This school teaches me how to make the right decisions in life. It teaches me the right people to be around.
My favorite things about school is math and spending time with friends.
I love school because it teaches me how to learn.
Franklinton Junior High is special to me because it gives me a wonderful education and makes me be the brightest student I can.
Franklinton Junior High has very loving people and is very kind to everyone, and it's very nice to talk to people.
I love the junior high because my friends make it so much more special for me.
Franklinton Junior High has very good school spirit. You can tell on every dress out day somebody, and yeah, everybody's included in everything.
I love Franklinton High School. Go Demons, everybody.
I love Franklinton High School because the environment and the staff and the teachers, they're just all so great and amazing, and they really make the high school experience really great.
Franklinton High School has given me an opportunity to meet so many new people and create new friendships that'll last a lifetime.
The opportunities at Franklinton High School has allowed me to be able to be the best person I could possibly be.
Franklinton High School provided me with the tools that I needed in order to succeed. It also exposed me to educators who have inspired me to be an educator myself, and I've been given the opportunity to succeed today and also in the future.
What makes this a special place? The students, the administration, and the staff, and this great community.
Coach, this week, obviously, everybody big game or whatever, and we'll get to that briefly in a second. But, our players have earned the right to perform in this quote-unquote big game.
Right, I agree. Yeah, I think they have, Coach. I think they've earned it over 2 years. And just putting a program together, you point to games like this against opponents like this. I mean, these guys were in a Superdome not too long ago. And so I think our kids have tested themselves well. We've played great competition, and they've worked hard. They've worked hard enough to be champions. And so, go out and play well and be who we are, and which is a Franklinton Demon football team that I think people are going to be proud of.
Awesome. Now we're joined by Jackie Castro Alvarez, a student here at FHS. She's an FHS TV student as well. Jackie, you have the audience questions this week, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to her.
Thank you so much. I got some questions for you guys. Aside from the Fountain Blue game, how do you guys think our guys did with the scores that were so close. How do you think that's going to impact us?
I think it preps you, Jackie, for winning games. I don't think, in the playoffs, if we're fortunate enough to win enough to get in, are you ever going to play an opponent that you're just going to go out and steamroll? It just doesn't happen anymore because of the power ratings. You're going to play close games. And, it was like when we went into overtime last week, the first words out of my mouth to everybody was, we've done this before. So, there's no reason to be in shock. And so I think these close games help us.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. We exploded offensively this season. 19 versus Amy, 21 versus Covington, 29 against Pine, 61 versus Fountain Blue, 42 against Sumner. How do you feel like we've been executing better on that side of the ball?
I think three things go into it, really, Jackie. I always believe you win football games up front, offensively and defensively, and I think our offensive line is starting to really develop into a physical, cohesive group that understands each other, what the next guy is going to do, where his hand's going to be, where his foot's going to be, where his head's going to be, and that's important. I think our skill kids are starting to, feel good about where they are and how they're doing it. And then lastly, Jacob Crane has been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal all year. And, football at any level, doesn't matter if it's high school, college, or the NFL. It's a quarterback league. And so when you have a quarterback that has his ability, you're going to score a lot of points.
Mm-hmm. How about our defense? How do you think they've been doing?
We can get better, but we're playing well enough to win games. And I really think when I first got into coaching a long, long time ago, you'd see a lot of 14-7, 14-13 kind of games. But now, 40 years later, because of spread offense and RPO game and option football, whether it be old school triple option or RPO option, football defensively now is about getting the stops when you need to get them. It's not about, everybody wants to get a shutout, but if you can get the stop at the moment you need to get the stop, like last week when we had given up 39 points, but we got an interception in overtime to end the drive, and that gave us an opportunity to win the game. So our defense has been opportunistic in that respect, and they've been great with turnovers. We've gotten a bunch of turnovers this year. So as long as we can get the stop when we need to get the win, I'm happy, whether it's 3-2 or 63-62.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. So, Coach, we'll finish today. Not we don't want to get in the scheme, and this probably would apply to any opponent. But what would be some keys in a game like this tonight? Say 2 or 3 keys going in.
Coach, I think first and foremost, you and I talk about it all the time. No knucklehead penalties. No crazy penalties, no late hit out of bounds or, a hold when we got a touchdown and have it called back. No knucklehead penalties. The second thing is ball security. I mean, all the cliches. And the third thing is have a giant Franklinton crowd Friday night to cheer our guys on because our kids feed off of that. And look, like we said, they've earned the right to be here. They've earned the right to have that crowd behind them like that. So I think those are the keys.
And, Coach, when you stand on that visitor sideline, where the area where our track will go one day,
right,
and it's kind of wide open, and you look across at Demon Stadium,
right,
which is bigger than most opponents we play other than Covington. It can be intimidating when that place is packed. You've been on
Coach,
that sideline, and the Demon fans are fired up wearing their purple and gold, and tonight even pink. So y'all come out tonight, support the Demons. We look forward to a great crowd. We look forward to supporting our student athletes and all band support groups, everyone involved. They've earned this right in this quote-unquote, as the experts call it, a big game. They're all big, but this is the first, opportunity we've had like this in 10-plus years where we're number one in the power rankings and we're playing an opponent, I think that's and they're 3. So a big game in Demon Stadium. This is what you've been asking for. I'm blessed and thankful that we have a coach like Coach Salt leading our program now, and I know the community's fired up. So come on out tonight, 7 o'clock, Demon Stadium, and go Demons.
Go Demons.